Well, that was one hell of an intro. Hi, guys, and before this episode starts, there's a few things that I want to clear up. So, I'm going to be making this video before the battle tournament. So, if the battle tournament comes out late, that's because I want to make this video first. And secondly, there's a few things that I said in my Just a Robot Ben 10 video that I have different opinions on. So firstly, I have come to understand that uh Alien X is actually hyperversal, which is billions of times more powerful than multiversal. Uh I watched a video on a debate on who would win between Green Lantern and Ben 10, and I'll put that in the description or in the comment section so you guys can go check that out and understand where I'm coming from. And also, I also forgot to mention in that video that ultimate aliens are not 10 times more powerful than their base forms. Uh, that's there's numerous cases of that not being the case, like Ultimate Echo taking on Ultimate Kevin Levin, which is like an amalgamation of all of Ben's aliens at the time, which I think was like around 20, and also Ultimate Humongosaur went up against like 50 or so Humongosaurs. So yeah, sorry, Just a Robot. Ultimates are not 10 times more powerful. I still love your channel, by the way, and I'm sorry that you're having to deal with uh, uh, Prismate Luke bullshit. I'm sorry he's calling you racist. I disagree with that full-heartedly. Yeah, so, yeah, let's get into it. Also, let me know in the comments whether or not you like that intro or my regular intro. Um, So please tell me. If you don't like this one, I'll go back to doing the old intro. So yeah. So firstly, you might, if you saw the title of this video, then you're like, wait, how? Well, I'm going to explain how. I'm going to be talking about how Ben could beat any Marvel villain. Any. I'm not going to be talking about the superheroes because I'm afraid somebody is going to get all mad and hyper raged in the comments, so I'd rather not touch that. So I'm just going to touch upon the villains. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is, well, I thought about this in the shower. I wonder if Ben 10 could beat any Marvel villain. I don't know, he probably could. Stabber, get the fuck out of here! So yeah. Shower thoughts. Because I can. Anyway, for the sake of consistency, I'm going to be talking about the villains from the MCU, shit. I'm going to be talking about the villains from the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So basically, the villains from the Marvel movies, like Loki, Thanos, and Ultron, and those versions only. And I will talk about only a few villains from the other movies, like Venom and Goblin from the original Spider-Man trilogy, and a few other curveballs. So, yeah. Let's start out with our first villain, Loki. But wait, Nick, shouldn't you talk about Ben 10 and what she can do? That's a valid point, Ralph. Let's talk about Ben 10 first. So, Ben 10 is in the shows, his age depends on which show you're watching, but modern Ben 10 would be around 25, I think. And he is equipped with the Omnitrix, around the same model that I have. And the Omnitrix allows the user to turn into a variety of alien species. and it can make any good fighter incredibly versatile, especially with Master Control, which allows the user to use the Omnitrix however he wants to. No time limits, no having to turn to a human first, turning into aliens with just a thought, stuff like that. And also, a big factor of Ben 10 going up against these villains is his Berserker mode. If you ever watched Ben 10, you've noticed that Ben 10 sometimes goes into this full out bloody rage mode whenever he gets super pissed. Good examples of this is in the movie Secret of the Omnitrix, where he thought Ben died and he got so bloody raged out, and he was willing to kill the creator of the Omnitrix because he was so mad. Another example of this rage mode is in a special episode where we see Ben in the future, and he thought that Kevin Levin killed his son, so he turned into Waybig and beat the shit out of him. It was crazy. And the only reason why he didn't go ahead and kill him, which he probably would have, is because he's a police officer slash superhero. And we know that he would have went ahead and to kill Kevin Levin, because in Ultimate Alien, Ben almost does so when Kevin Levin gets the powers of all of his aliens at the time and is going around threatening lives. So he almost kills him as Ultimate Echo Echo. And there's other examples too, but those are just some really those are the most well-known examples of him going to this bloody rage mode, which means he will not hold back against any of these villains. Could you imagine the power of some of these aliens mixed in with his berserker mode can make him an incredibly deadly force to be reckoned with. So, these villains are going to have a really hard time taking down this Omnitrix wielder. But wait, Nick, he won't always be in his rage mode. That's a good point, Big O, but here's the thing. These villains in these movies are extremely fucked up. You've seen what they can do. They will even go after the family of some of our heroes, like Winter Soldier killing Iron Man's mom and dad, and a villain killing Spider-Man's uncle, Ben. So, wait, Uncle Ben? Ben 10? Is Ben 10 secretly the uncle of Spider-Man? No. But anyway, if these villains will most likely beeline to Ben's most loved people, like Gwen and Grandpa Max, and if they killed him, either one of them, Ben 10 would most definitely go into this berserker rage mode, and probably would be so more raged out than any time that he's gone berserk. And most likely these villains will try to kill Grandpa Max or Gwen, and if they do so, watch out, Ben is on a rampage. The reason why it would be so deadly for Ben to go into this rage mode is the power of some of these aliens. Forearms can catch missiles and throw them right back at whoever launches them at him. Humongosaur can lift a Waybig, which weighs 74 tons. I mean, not 74 tons, I mean 74,000 tons. And Gravitech can create black holes. Waybig can destroy stars, and so on and so forth. Atomics can one-shot an ultimate Humongosaur, which, if you remember me discussing earlier, can take down around 50 base form Humongosaurs, which is crazy. And add that along to the speed of some of these aliens like Jet Ray and Accelerate, which can move at hyper speeds for Jet Ray and around light speed for Accelerate, and the durability of Diamond Head and Cannonbolt, and the invulnerability of Ghost Freak, Amphibian, Big Chill, and Goop, alongside with numerous other abilities like Poison Gas creation as Swamp Fire or Gut Rot, or Regeneration as after before mentioned Swamp Fire and even Wild Vine, and so many other abilities tapped onto this Raged Mode Ben 10 is going to be one hell of a bloody battle. Not to mention Master Control. Wish I could play clips of Ben 10 doing these things, but the last time I did, I got copyright strike, so you're just going to have to trust me on this one. Plus, Ben 10 is on Hulu, so if you want to go watch it, please do. And also, go to Kuro the Artist's channel, and he'll talk about all the same things that I'm talking about. Matter of fact, that's where I got most of my Ben 10 knowledge and love for Ben 10. So, please go check out Kuro the Artist. He's great. I've talked about him before, actually. Twice, actually. So, please do. Especially you, Mango. I feel like that you need to get into this Ben 10 craziness. It's just amazing. Ben 10 is an amazing show. He's an awesome character. Just do it. Do it, Mango. Do it! Do it! Do it! Okay? Okay. Now let's talk into the villains. Okay, so let's talk about Loki. His main gimmick is that he can control other people's minds with one of the Infinity Stones, the Mind Stone, and he's an incredibly good trickster and decent at fighting. Yeah, Loki's not having the slimmest of chances against Ben 10 because, firstly, Ben 10 has resisted mind control on numerous occasions. A good example of which is against the Hypnotic, and he resisted the mind control as a species that is vulnerable to mind control, specifically Ghost Freak. This alien. I'm not saying he'd be completely immune to the Mind Stone. I'm just saying he'd resist it pretty easily. Not to mention a few other aliens would just be straight up immune to the Mind Stone. Specifically one, but I'm going to be talking about him later. Most of the time, the way that Loki takes down his enemies is by stabbing him with a knife or a spear. And yeah, no, that's not going to happen against Ben 10. Diamond Head, which is one of Ben 10's aliens, survived an entire building exploding in his face and did not even flinch. That's just one of his aliens that can survive explosions like that. So a knife or a spear ain't gonna do shit. And like I said, Ben 10's going to be in this berserker mode, so he's not going to be willing to be tricked by Loki. Yeah, he's not going to be tricked in this berserker state. He's as he quoted before, he's come too far to be stopped now. That's one of my favorite Cannonbolt quotes. So, yeah, Loki, no, KO. Next is Ultron, and Ultron is in a similar state to Loki in terms of how badly he'd be beaten. Voltron is basically a robot that's incredibly smart, and he shoots lasers and shit. And, yeah, one word, upgrade. Upgrade. Yeah, Upgrade can control and, take over any technology, so yeah. And plus, he could just probably dismantle him with his incredibly smart aliens like Gray Matter or Jerry Rig or Brainstorm or Frankenstrike. Also, all of those are incredibly smart and will probably be able to dismantle him. Plus, yeah, he is made of vibranium, but Ripjaws and Wildmutt have torn through the toughest of steels throughout, well, not steel, metals. They have torn through the toughest of metals throughout the galaxy. So I really doubt vibranium is going to slow down Ben. And Ripjaws and Wildmutt are very strong on their own. Ripjaws can take down or go up against the Kraken, which can destroy ships, and Wildmutt can battle huge brawly beasts like a mutant mole and a bug lizard. So, while I'm not saying that they'd be strong enough to outstrength Voltron, they definitely use their strength and sharp claws and jaws to tear through Voltron's vibranium armor, and plus upgrade and Jerry Rig and Gray Matter and all that. So yeah, Voltron KO. Wasn't or guys? Is it Voltron or Ultron? I really don't know. I think it's Ultron, but please let me know in the comments. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And also ask which fossil I took. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm for that as well. Okay? Okay. Yeah. And then there's Killmonger, the guy with the robot arm from Black Panther, and if you guys remember, he's also in Age of Ultron, or Voltron, or whatever, however the fuck you say his name. He was in that movie too. Actually, in that movie, it shows how he lost his arm, so I thought that was pretty cool. And so Killmonger ain't gonna have, is probably in the same situation as Ultron, or however you say his name, because he's got a robot arm, but he's not as screwed as Ultron because only his arm is mechanical, so only his arm would be taken over, while Ultron would have his entire body taken over as if Benton went to upgrade. And by the way, upgrade is this alien. Upgrade! And Killmonger without his robot arm is pretty useless. So, yeah. Killmonger KO. Then there's the Goblin from the original 3 Spider-Man movies. He's at peak human physique, he can throw grenades that can vaporize entire people, and he's got a glider. But, he's got the same problems as Killmonger and Ultron with the glider thing, since its technology and upgrade can take control over things that are technology. Plus, the grenades wouldn't work against Diamond Head. And, yeah, he's kind of strong, but he's definitely not stronger than aliens like Four Arms or Cannonbolt or Humongosaur. So, yeah, Goblin KO. Then there's Venom, but, yeah, no. Venom not having a chance. Heat Blast, Swamp Fire, can shoot fire, and Venom is incredibly weak to fire. So, no, KO. And you can even see that in my video where I started to go back to YouTube. So, yeah, KO. Also, not to mention that, Venom is also weak to sound, and Echo and even Buzzshock can screech at sonic frequencies. So, no, Venom's just, he's not beating Ben. Also, Juggernaut appeared in Deadpool, and I know Deadpool is in the X-Men universe, but I think the X-Men are going to appear in the Marvel MCU. Plus, I did say I was going to throw in some curveballs, so yeah. The Juggernaut can create magnitude 9 earthquakes just by punching the ground, which is really strong, but do you know who else can create earthquakes just by punching the ground? Armadillo. And Humongosaur is even stronger than Armadillo because he took down Ultimate Agrigor, or at least fought evenly with him, which is an amalgamation of Armadillo plus Energy, Amphibian, Water Hazard, and Paraspin. So, yeah, he would beat him with either Armadillo or Humongosaur, which Humongosaur is especially relevant because Humongosaur is one of the aliens that he went to Berserk in. So, yeah. So, yeah, those are most of the not Ben 10, Marvel villains that could not beat Ben 10. And yeah, I didn't talk about Thanos, but I already went over him in the uh, Just a Robot video. But if you want me to talk about him more, I guess I could. But I'm not going to say anything new. Ben 10 is still going to beat Thanos. Because, yeah, he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, but if he were to blast that at Ben 10, he'd just turn into Chroma Stone, or actually more likely feedback, absorb it and redirect it at him and blast it back. Plus there's Alien X, and I don't need to go into any more detail of how billions of times more powerful Alien X is than Thanos. So, Thanos, by any chance, if you're watching this, fuck you. So, if there's any villains that I missed, or if you want me to talk about other characters that Ben could beat in a fight, then I'll do a part 2, or maybe even a video talking about DC villains. But since the movies are terrible, I would be talking about mostly animated cartoons and shows and the comics, the villains in those. But mostly the villains that only go up against one of the characters, not as the Justice League as a whole, mostly maybe. But that would be in the parts 2 or DC special. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and yeah, that's just about it. Bye. Also, anything that Alien X can reproduce or do, he can be immune to it. And Alien X can control minds, control and reverse time, manipulate space, have immense power. So, yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet would not work on that because, ironically enough, those are all the things the Infinity Gauntlet can do. Except soul manipulation and soul stealing, but he's got Ghost Freak for that, and Ghost Freak doesn't have a soul. So, yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet would not work against Ben 10 because Alien X and Ghost Freak would be immune to any of the stones. So, yeah.